Alright, Diablo players, let's talk about how do we get the mythic unique items in Season 8, as there are a few different updates. So, for starters, let's go over the top two methods. So the best ways to actually acquire these mythic uniques are going to be from doing these things called the Tributes of Ascendance, as well as doing Belial runs in a group. And you're going to be able to get these materials by playing the game or essentially trading with other players. I'll also go over a few different other ways that you guys can get these mythic uniques, but first let's go over some visuals here. Now the first thing I want to also mention that's brand new in specifically Season 8, I'll pause it over here. You can remove these season blessings, and how you acquire these season blessings with these ashes is you actually complete the seasonal journey, as you're going to have to do different objectives, and as you progress you're going to get these things called ashes. You want to make sure the Urn of Lies, as long as you are doing any of the Lair Bosses, the Lair Bosses are essentially your main source of getting the mythics. You can always remove points out of other ones and put them right back into the Lair Boss drop for Belial to have them appear and essentially get double loot. But this is your best realistic method, is to farm the bosses again and again. Now, you'd want to do these in a group because you have a higher drop chance if you do these in a group. You also want to run, of course, a good build. But the two main ways that I really want to highlight right now at the start of this video is basically doing Belial runs and Tributes of Ascendance. Anything else, you're honestly kind of wasting your time if you're trying to get these mythic uniques. So let's go over some other different methods that you can still acquire a mythic unique that still kind of are relevant. So for starters, what is the Tribute of Ascendance? There are two different variants of these. So you can acquire these by doing world bosses, or you can turn in different whispers, and you can just acquire these in the game, as they are quite rare, just as a heads up, but these also have a good chance to drop a mythic. If you get the United one, which works for your entire party, you want to do these in a group, and you want to find a Discord group that all also have these, so you do a rota run, meaning that you guys are going to rotate your materials. This is actually very important here. And then pretty much it's just spamming any of the Lair Bosses. Now, I will recommend Belial, as he lets you kind of choose what you want for the reward, but any of the Lair Bosses are going to be good. You can do Duriel, or you can do any of the Gregor, you can do Varshan, but one Lair Boss I'm going to try to tell you guys to stick away from is actually going to be Andariel. The reason why is she just takes too damn long to kill. That's the reality of it. But doing any of the Lair Bosses is going to be absolutely key. I already mentioned this, but just again stressing this, make sure you upgrade the Urn of Lies. It does cost gold if you want to respec and take points out of something, but always, if you are doing your current rota runs, you want to go ahead and slam everything into this, as if you defeat a Lair Boss, you can have Belial appear and you can actually kill him again, and then you can get the loot again. It's good. It is 100% worth it. Another thing is that if you go to the blacksmith, you guys can actually craft a random mythic unique. It will require 50 million gold, which is honestly nothing. And then it will also require you to have 2 sparks. So sparks are going to be some materials that you're going to need if you want to craft a mythic. So it's actually not too bad. Your chances aren't even really that bad with this mechanic. If you happen to need 3 mythics, your chances are actually pretty high. It's near 40-ish% to get the one that you want if you need 3. On average, most builds will need the Shroud of False Death, or the Heir of Perdition, and or Harlequin, and then also Ring of the Starless Skies. There's 3 mythics that are in a lot of different builds, so your chances of actually getting a random one, because there's, depending on the class that you play, there's 7 to 9, depending on, again, the class that you're playing. You may not be able to even get the spear won't drop on the rogue. In fact, the rogue is the class I will recommend you guys to craft on, because Doombringer this season is actually quite good as you scale HP for overpower. But there's a lot of other classes where you don't want to craft this on, because you may not want to get the Spear of Lycander or Shattered Vow or Nasikim. There's a lot of garbage mythic uniques in the game. So if you're crafting, make sure you craft on the character that you actually want the item to drop. No one really runs the spear, so don't play Sorc or Druid if you want to craft, because you have a garbage item that's in basically 0 builds. So make sure you guys, when you guys go to the blacksmith to craft the random one, that you're actually crafting the one that you want that could drop for your class. Another thing is you can actually get a spark from doing Uber Lilith, but also if you salvage the random mythic unique, let's say you get unlucky, you get the garbage Melted Heart of Silic, which I got twice already this season. But if you salvage it, you'll also get an additional spark, because this gives you 50% of what you put in. The only thing that you don't get back is the gold, but 50 million gold is nothing in this season. See, I already have like 14 bill over here, but for the most part, like 50 million gold is nothing in the game. Uber Lilith, if you kill Uber Lilith, that will also grant you a spark. But the other way that you guys can acquire the mythic uniques is to actually just straight up craft them using runes. Now, to acquire 6 of the legendary runes, it's actually very, very rare if you just play the game. However, you can trade on a trade website. There's tons of them, but Diablo Trade is the one I'm going to recommend for the video, as I have a guide dedicated to how to navigate the website. But basically, you trade your items or materials for gold, then you use the gold and you just buy the exact rune that you need. This is the easiest way to actually acquire the mythic unique. It will require these 2 sparks, but it will also require, well, it technically requires 3 different sets of runes, but honestly, it only requires 1 that's actually hard. The rest you may actually already have, and or it will be so cheap to the point where you're going to be able to just buy it outright. But basically, it comes down to the 6 legendary runes, 2 sparks, and then you can go to the jeweler and craft the exact mythic unique. If you need a very specific mythic unique, this is your best way to actually acquire it. It's kind of like you're farming the runes and or gold and or items to sell for the gold, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but these are the best ways to get the mythic uniques. But yeah, as far as the sparks go, you can actually salvage the mythic unique to get a spark, but there's also several different ways to acquire these, as these tie into how to craft the mythic here. And then on top of that, you can also get a spark from the season journey. So if you just open your season journey up in like the main menu tab, so just hit escape, go to like the season journey, and you'll see all these objectives that you'll have to do, and once you complete everything, you will get the spark. It also gives you the ashes, so this is how you get like more chances for the extra Belial to spawn in for season 8, as this is new. There's another way that you can get it, which is to go to specifically Sorc, and you are able to see this bounty board. Obviously, this is for the season mechanic only, but there is a board that you can actually complete, and at the very end, there is a resplendent cache that will also have a spark guaranteed in there. It's only 1, so that is another way that you can get it. By the way, doing Uber Lilith only works once. Some of these methods, you do them like once. Like, you can do this once per character, you finish it, you get the spark, and then, well, you cannot open it again. You get these other caches. These ones, as far as I'm aware of, cannot drop a spark, but maybe you can get a mythic off of just that. But honestly, these are very, very low drop chances. All right, so as far as the trading goes, this website, guys, is called Diablo.trade. I've been using it for a very, very long time. It is the best trade website, even though it is also bad. And the reason why I mentioned that it's bad is you never know with certain players when it's just kind of out in the Wild West. Just be on the lookout when someone puts in a wrong item accidentally, or sometimes on purpose to try to get an edge on you. But for the most part, this is your ticket right here, is to use Diablo.trade. That is the website you go to, and then you message them. You're going to log in with your Battle.net account, and basically you message them, and then they'll message you back. Do not waste your time. When anyone says offer me, it's just a waste of time. They're wasting everyone's time. Honestly, those players should just be banned from the game, and they should remove the make offer on my item. You just want to go buy the item. And the most important thing that I want to give you as a little tip is watch my video guide on how to list items and how to sell items here. But the most important thing is that if you are messaging someone, there's this little green icon and there is this red icon. I would still message the red icon ones because sometimes people just happen to come back, but especially if they list the item like 1 minute ago, usually they're still online. It's just for whatever reason the website doesn't register properly. But ideally you try to message the people that are online. But if they just listed the item like a minute ago, sometimes this thing kind of just needs to refresh. But you can buy and sell items over here, and it's the materials that you want, and you want to slam the bosses again and again. Another really great tool is the Sanctuary Diablo 4 community Discord. This is your absolute ticket. If you're not watching like a live streamer and he's not saying, hey guys, you guys want to join for boss runs or something like that, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. Playing in a group in Diablo 4 is absolutely key to get the mythics because it's just much faster, especially because if you can't kill the boss, well, hopefully someone else in the group will. But it's mainly that you want to have access to these specific channels here. So most people are going to be playing softcore, and they're going to be playing in the season, right? So if you go to the Sanctuary Discord, it's going to ask you if you want playing softcore or hardcore, but basically you just look for these 2 groups. You look for the softcore LFG, which stands for looking for group, and Undercity. These are the areas where you want to look for, of course, the correct tributes of Ascendance, and you want to do the rotor runs. You'll see people type in their battle tag. I literally took this screenshot seconds before making this video. But basically, this is where you want to go ahead and actually lock in and do these in a group in a rota run for, again, the tributes. Remember, there are 2 tributes. There is Resolute and there is United. You want United if you are doing the rota runs for this. If it is not, it is the wrong one and everyone's going to get mad at you. So make sure that you look for the correct one. And then the other one that you want is the Lair for the Exalted. You can do the Initiate and Greater. It's the same concept, but honestly, the Belial is the best because Belial you can melt really fast and he doesn't have a mechanic like Andariel or Doriel where he goes under the ground, you sit there twiddling your thumbs for 10 seconds and then he pops out. So Belial is the ultimate one that people want to do, and make sure that you're not doing T3, please. Everyone do it on T4. Your drop chances are higher as you increase in the Tormented difficulty. Same thing with everything in the game. You want to be on Torment 4 if you want the highest drop chance for some of these things. But yeah, this is the LFG Lair Exalted. And you see people are just saying we have 50 mats, whatever mats. Try to go in with the same ones as you have higher chances, obviously, to do more runs. But sometimes if you're like 49 runs, honestly, most people don't care. But if you're far off, like if they want to do 50 runs and you're like, I got 5 runs, guys, maybe just don't whisper them. Okay, just trying to save both players some time here. Now, another great video that I want to go ahead and mention is how to price check in items. The best way to get ahead of the game is basically you trade your items and you go to the Diablo Trade website, and again you get these, the Betrayer's Husk, or if you need the Varshan you get the little different materials required for that specific boss. If you're doing Greygar, you need the Living Steel. They all have different materials for the bosses. I'm just highlighting specifically Belial because he is the new one and he's essentially going to be the greatest one. So again, go to the Diablo Trade website, trade for Betrayer's Husk. Anything else, honestly, I would just sell for gold and then just get the Betrayer's Husk because it's the ultimate one. So we went over crafting. You can randomize it or you can get the exact one that you need, but honestly, because you need the runes, it's kind of hard unless you want to trade. So if you just happen to have a lot of sparks, the randomization one is really not that bad. And again, craft on Rogue. This is something I have to stress real quick. Again, because Doombringer's good, you don't have the Spear, you don't have Shadow Vow, you don't have Grandfather and the Seek Him, because these are all pretty much garbage. Grandfather arguably is like kind of viable, but we went over just really quickly how to get the sparks over here just so you guys can have it visually. We have the season bounty board, the season journey, Uber Lilith, and also salvaging. Diablo.trade, Sanctuary Discord. Again, you can just Google Diablo Sanctuary Discord. It's like the first link. Go over there. And then also, so there are people out there that says, well, you could use your obols and you could get the, Mythic unique from the open world just by playing the game. Honestly, you have a better chance at Ariana Grande hitting you up in your Instagram DMs saying, hey, do you need boss mats? I got you. It's basically impossible, okay? Just give you guys realistic expectations. If you guys go in thinking, man, I'm just gonna farm those obols and get my Mythic unique, there's really only 2 methods, which is Tributes of Ascendance and then doing either Belial runs or any of the Lair bosses, but Belial is pretty much like the one that people use. Play in a group so you have increased drop chance, trade all of your materials or whatever for specifically Belial's, and then sell all of your items that you do not need on Diablo Trade for gold. Remember, you have to sell items that people actually want. If you don't know what people want, look up a meta build and see what people are using in their equipment and try to match up. If it is not GA, it is absolutely a waste of your time because it's not going to be worth that much gold. And again, people are really looking for the greater affixed items at the very end. If you get 1 to 2 good greater affixes on item, then you can list it on trade. How much is it worth? Watch my video guide to check the item price, and keep in mind prices always fluctuate, but that's going to be your best method. And also make an updated like gold/trade guide soon, but for now this one's pretty much going to be very similar, but I'll update it for, of course, season 8 as I don't want this video to be super long, and I just want to get straight to the point in terms of what's the best. And again, just going over it, it's pretty much Belial runs, and you want to make sure, this is another thing I want to stress really quick at the very end of the video, is that make sure if you are doing a group, you need one person to at least be able to kill the boss within a few seconds. If it takes forever, let's go fast forward to like a boss kill over here. So he takes a couple seconds to spawn in, but there are groups, I'm not even kidding, where only one person can kill the boss, and that's totally fine. As long as you kill him like 5-10 seconds like I did right there, that's good. Play a meta build. If all 4 of you guys can't kill the boss and it takes you like 2-3 minutes, it's not too efficient. But if you're only doing like 5 runs and it's taking you 2 minutes, not that big of a deal. But if you're doing like 50 or 100 runs and it's taking you several minutes, well, you got to consider your time and see if it's actually worth it. But anyways, that's going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn that bell if you want to see that updated trade guide, as well as other guides in the future. But take care, Diablo players. Good luck on getting those mythics. Peace out.